Welcome to the Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980s channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Vitaly Z, Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Thomas Van der Zander, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Sea Level Cultist, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Names Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unamento, Iron26, Endless, Golden McKinnon, Retro Bill, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Dulcet tones. How about we continue with that video?
Nah, that was so yesterday.
Yeah, but Nathan, that got you going, and there's other stuff on there that I'm telling you, you're going to be on fire for.
I'm alright, I've got to be honest.
Especially when they talk about science and
What
the
was,
experiments that they do.
What was QE's attitude when you suggested that he covered it? What did he say? What was his attitude towards covering it?
Yeah, but he didn't even listen to it. I thought we were going back to basics.
Who covered it, Neil?
Neil, do you have a membership?
What was that, Goat?
Do you have a membership to Nathan's YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Did you watch the Uncut and After show last night and see what Nathan was doing whilst we was asking him to press play?
No, I didn't, but I'm assuming he was playing his damn video game.
Correct. Oh, hello, Nathan.
Hello. Just got
How's things?
Just got myself a pot noodle.
Oh, God. Oodles and noodles. Anyway, and I missed that whole beginning.
We're covering Tiny Tim today.
Excellent.
Not really.
What, what's interesting though is that he calls the Flat Earth Society, and they must have a UK. What do you call it? A branch? Somewhere?
Yeah, branch.
And the lady on the phone seemed very pleasant, you know. I think if we were to ring up and promote this show or promote your book, I think she'd be game.
Maybe. You think we should get in touch with the controlled opposition Flat Earth Society?
If it's a benefit to you, yeah.
No, you do not associate yourselves with them. It'll be bad, I'm telling you.
I mean, I can do whatever I want, actually, but...
Yeah, but how would that look?
Like a phone call that we'll see in Tiny Tim engaging in shortly. Something like that.
Oh, you're doing another video. I thought you said we'll do a tiny trim of the last video.
No,
Boy.
Tiny Tim.
Oh, gosh.
I'll get it queued up now. I was going to cover it yesterday, and then the Dave Weiss thing seemed better to me. And then today I was going to cover Jaren, but I've been explicitly told by QE not to because he's covering it on his show today.
Oh, Joe, talking to Sam and Dan. I haven't watched that. I can't wait.
Well, I was told I got lots of mentions. Not that I particularly care. I've got no desire to listen to either of them. I was only interested in Jerem when he was on our side.
Yeah, but they're interested in you, Nathan. Sometimes it's tough being the hottest one on the block.
Can't find it. Can someone repost Tiny Tim? It's from yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Maybe I've just scrolled too high.
Don't do it, Central.
Oh, it's
Brian's
you
right.
seen that
We never
one?
go through a video.
Have
Never
you
go
seen that
through a
one, have you,
video in
Neil?
total. I'm sorry, what?
Have you seen that video? You don't approve. One is not amused.
which video?
Which one? The Tiny Tim?
No, the one of Candy So's twerking. Yeah, Tiny Tim.
No, I haven't.
I'll just check him sound-wise. Hold on.
Join the Truth Revolution, the UK's leading flat earth awareness group, weekly meetings, and they put it on a round poster.
Is it a Flat Earth Society poster? Not 100% sure it is. We'll find out in the video when we do it live. But there we go. That's what we're covering, Neil.
All right, I guess I'll adjust. We'll cover, 10 minutes of this one and move on to the next one. Brian's right. We never finish anything here.
Well, we won't start anything if you don't turn up.
I'll always be here.
I think he meant Brian. I think Brian still has a little bit of an axe with you with that whole AI overlord thing because you did not release that video when he wanted you to release it.
Time's a good healer. We'll all just pretend it never happened.
Well, you see, he's what do you say when he's showing his true colors now? Because now he got into an issue with QE on 24/7 politics. So and he has a lot of negative things to say about FED, but that's always been his little spiel there that AI overlords or ego lord, I call him. Were you satisfied with what was accomplished yesterday?
Book. Yeah. It's all right.
That was very good. How you just put the book out there and started it. QE had no choice. Very good move.
Yeah,
Because
that's what I thought.
nobody wanted to do it.
If I don't keep doing that, I'll never get done.
Excellent move.
I mean, I want it done properly, but I also want it to make money. Like, as soon as possible.
Agreed.
I think things like the audio book, they can wait. Right, once it's a book, we'll just get it out as a book. Then I'll do the audio book.
Yeah, because you got to rehearse for about a year for that.
Yeah, there's so many options with the audiobook as well. There's so many sites that do podcasts that would host that.
That was a shot I took at Nathan. I thought yesterday that you were adding words and saying words that weren't there deliberately because you wanted QE to read it. I was waiting for him to come in and start saying, "Oh my God, I'll do it." But I know it's hard to read on that little screen.
Little screen.
Well, for me, if I had to read it, it would be impossible on the phone. It's so tiny.
The one screen's 8 foot across, Neil.
Oh, so you have no excuse for messing up that bad. What's wrong with you?
Dyslexia.
My idea was put a date on the release, like say it's going to be released end of summer 2025. And then you have to get it done at that time.
No, there's why? No need to rush it. Don't wanna rush
No.
it.
It's not rushing it. You're missing my point. Gotta get everybody together more frequently to finish it. Because sometimes a week goes by and nothing's done.
We're getting there, Neil. Don't worry. It'll get done.
You need a montage.
What of book writing?
Correct.
Yeah, there's not going to be a montage.
Well, how about some YouTube commercials when it's getting close?
Yeah, definitely.
I can't wait to listen to Simon Down talk to Jaredism. It's going to be a fascinating conversation.
Yeah, very interesting. Use his words. Interesting.
Why? They've been on the same side the whole time.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's going to be so incoherent, Nathan.
Yeah, I don't know. As much as I've been told, don't cover that. I'm not that interested in covering it. Listening to shills talk to each other is about as desirable as listening to Dave try and prove a flat Earth and fail.
What do you mean?
Yeah, but they're
fail?
incompetent shills. That's what makes it entertaining.
What do you mean fail, Nathan? Didn't you hear him say when you're on a ball, when you're on the top of a ball, or when you're on the side of a ball? It's flat Earth proof, buddy. And the funny thing with that is they think they did great because the conversation was cordial. Oh my God.
How's it going, Discord? You all excited for the live show?
Super excited.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Just another 6 more minutes of silence and we'll be there. No worries.
No pressure. I'm past that time where I want to warm up the Discord server.
So
Close
Nathan,
your
you
eyes
said,
and imagine the book being written, Neil.
yeah. So Nathan, you said something about he was on the same side the whole time. If that's the case, then there was a great effort being done in the background to stop this flat earth, if you want to call it a movement or realization. So that's pretty scary.
Yeah. I suppose you're right. Concerted effort being made to control the narrative so that it's positioned as how the ball does or doesn't work, rather than just pointing out Earth's measured flat. That's right, Neil. In order to keep it being about the Feast of Nonsense, you need to make quite a concerted effort to achieve that.
And they have.
Yeah. But you don't get another go around, you only get one life, and that's what Jaron's chosen to make of his. Fair enough. You are what you are.
I'm still kind of hoping his last name, Campanella, somehow is Mexican and not Italian.
Panea.
I call him Scampanella because he is a scammer.
I mean, it makes more sense why they'd be so against us the whole time now, doesn't it? They were never for
Yeah.
us. Right? They were only ever going to decry flat Earth, and the people we were gathering together knew Earth was flat. Whereas they wanted the people they were gathering together to know about ether and how Earth curve works or doesn't work. That's what they wanted, and to the most part, they achieved that, right? There's going to be a certain amount of people who do come by here and can sleep better because they know Earth's flat. But the majority of people who came across the subject were corralled into a belief about flat Earth that was taken away from them with an Antarctic sun. Measured on a flat Earth.
So we were always public enemy number one once we started talking about the measurements of Earth.
Yeah.
And fewer people come to simp for Jaren and Witsit, and it's kind of nice.
Yeah, that would be Apocryphon. Constantly simping for freaking Witsit. Oh, no, listen, he says it just like you say it. And he doesn't. Let's get it on.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Hello, good to be here. We were discussing the shills of Flat Earth in the pre-show, specifically Jaren Shill, talking to another shill, always of the anti-Flat Earth disposition. That would be Simon Dan. Now, we won't be covering that today, as that has been specifically bagsied by Quantum Eraser. So be here or be sphere on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel at 7 p.m. UK time. I do believe that's 2 p.m. Central Standard. So over on QE Live, he'll be covering Simon Dan Talks to Jeranism tonight. So if you're watching it live, I don't know, however many hours after this stream, 6 hours, no, 5 hours after this stream finishes, or 5 hours from now. So there we go, that'll be interesting. I'll definitely be tuning into that. I had no intention of covering that anyway. There was a few people who said today, oh, I hope you cover that. Well, no, I had no intention to cover it because nobody had put a link to it. So I hadn't got a link to it. So we definitely weren't going to be covering it. I tend to be very reactive when it comes to the videos that we're going to be covering, and today's video is no different in that regard. So today we're going to be covering Tiny Tim. Now, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Tiny Tim. Anybody familiar with Tiny Tim?
Yes, I'm familiar with Tiny Tim because you have played it before, but I guarantee we will not get through the video
Why not?
because we never get through complete videos. Maybe here and there we do, but most of the time, right before the juicy parts, we go to something else.
Was it Tiny Tim who sang Tiptoe Through the Tulips?
Tulips? What are you talking about?
A singer from the 70s, perhaps?
Nurse is doing it again. What are you babbling about?
I know
Oh.
who he's talking about. It's a singer
There we
from
go.
the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, American Tiny
Tiptoe
Tim.
Through the Tulips.
Different Tiny Tim.
Oh, a Tiny Tim that sung about tulips. Okay. I know the tulips that
Tiny
sexist and
Tim
stuff like-
and man who speaks like a little child.
Yes, that is who we are talking about. We are talking about the Tiny Tim that sounds like a little child. So this is Tiny Tim. And as is always the case, although Tiny Tim is enormous, he's got like 1.5 million subscribers. So he's a pretty big channel by all accounts. And typically speaking, I haven't watched this all the way through. I've watched a few seconds to level him up. And I did watch a little bit of it yesterday to decide between the two videos, but I can't really remember what he covered other than making a phone call to Flat Earth Society, or what seemed like Flat Earth Society. It might not be. We'll find out. But there's a link in the live stream chat winging its way by now as we speak. So if you are in the live stream chat, do toddle along to Tiny Tim and let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me in a polite comment that doesn't immediately get removed by the YouTube bots or Tiny Tim himself. So try not to be passive aggressive. Just let him know. Anybody and everybody that's got a YouTube channel wants more subs. Doesn't matter if you've got 5 or 5 million. You always want more. It reminds me of a little. It's about money as opposed to YouTube subs, but it's Monty Burns talking to Waylon Smithers, and he opens the door to a vault that is filled to the brim with gold and jewels and valuables. And Monty Burns turns to Smithers and he says, "Ah, Smithers, I'd give it all up for a little bit more." Anyway, this is Tiny Tim. Please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. He'll definitely be grateful of the comments. He'll definitely be grateful of the YouTube algorithmic engagement that you will be offering. So don't just say, yeah, I'll do that. I haven't put the link there for my health. Go and let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And I do want him to know. I occasionally watch Tiny Tim. He amuses me occasionally in small doses with 6-month gaps between. But nevertheless, I don't find the guy hugely annoying or hugely offensive. What he does is fairly benign, I would say. Would anybody disagree? Anybody who finds Tiny Tim a political hot potato, speak now.
I'd never heard of him prior to this.
This guy's shtick is he calls up McDonald's and pretends to be a 5-year-old trying to order a Big Mac meal to get delivered on Deliveroo or something like that. You know, that's his shtick because he can do a good kid's voice, and he can. You'll find out in a moment.
There's actually a number on there as well.
Hello, Mary from the Flat Earth Society.
So it is Mary from the Flat Earth Society. Okay, well, we've only got 5 seconds into the video and I'm almost spoiling the introduction to this guy's kiddie voice, but I'll drag that out as much as possible. Because why not? But it is the Flat Earth Society he's contacting. Okay, so I'm going to come away from the video now. And we're gonna, for a few moments at least, talk about the Flat Earth Society and what we know of them. I actually don't know a great deal about them. I've never had any contact with them. I don't think I've ever even been to their website. So I only know what I get told by other people in terms of their generalised views of what the Flat Earth Society is and what it represents. So from my understanding, Flat Earth Society is a controlled narrative that gives you a bit like, I don't know, Alex Jones or something similar. 70-80% decent information, 20 to 30% information that's keeping the globe Earth rhetoric alive in the false dichotomy that is Flat Earth in this context. Not the Earth being measured flat in all instances context that we deal with, the controlled opposition narrative of it being a poster on a lamppost for Tiny Tim to react to. And then the feast of nonsense that follows. So who's got an opinion, I would hope many of you, on the Flat Earth Society?
There's a couple of them, though, right? Isn't there an international one? That's the one with Leo Ferrari or something?
No, that's now, in namesake at least, taken on by Eric Dubay. So there's the International Flat Earth Research Society, or IFES. Now, the International Flat Earth Research Society, IFES, is owned by Eric Dubay. Now, that was... Who was it you just mentioned his name? That's a regeneration, resurgence, reinitiation, whatever the Eric Dubay's read it. And the guy's name was mentioned by Neil a second ago. What was his name again?
Leo Ferrari or something?
Oh, maybe it's not.
I think that's it.
It could be. In any
Brian
event,
knows.
they're not the same people as Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society is who Tiny Tim's calling. They punt out plenty of feast of nonsense narratives about ice walls specifically and domes specifically. Falling off edges specifically, that's Flat Earth Society.
Was that one set up by the gentleman who performed the so-called Bedford level experiments? I forget his name.
That was Robotham, right?
Yeah, Parallax, was that his stage name or whatever?
Yeah.
So that's the one that's in today's video on the phone.
No, he's just phoning the Flat Earth Society. And they've got posters up on lampposts, right? Quite why, I don't know, but that's what's happening, and Tiny Tim's reacting to that. So, any other opinions on the Flat Earth Society before I get a little bit of Tim's voice as a child?
My name's Tim, and I've just seen your leaflet.
Right, okay. Where did you see it?
It on a lamppost.
Okay, how can I help you today?
The leaflet was on a lamppost and it was round. What's the deal? What's the deal? Why do you think the Earth's flat?
There's many reasons. I mean, the horizon's always flat, so when you look out into the ocean, it doesn't bend.
An axiomatic principle that's utilised for flight and describing how it doesn't bend, when, in terms of us proving that Earth's flat, we're not leaning into a horizon at all. We don't need to. Now, it has aspects that we can describe with perspective, if we choose to, but we don't need to. The axioms that tie to those descriptions in perspective terms are flat. So we can lean into that if we want to. But the reason Flat Earth Society give it as their first go-to piece of evidence for this person, and notice how they don't care his age. They're not saying, "Oh, right, well, you sound very young. Should you not adhere to society's ball earth rhetoric?" That's what I tell my kids. Yeah? I'm not telling them go out and be a flat earther. I let them know what will happen to them if they do too. Yeah, you'll be ridiculed and hated and mocked like you're a ginger.
What do you believe?
Well,
Now she's asking him about belief. See, flat earth isn't a belief, it's a measurement of the surface of Earth. All references will utilise Earth as a topographically flat plane for us to describe heights, distances, square footage, you name it. Anything to do with Earth measurement. It's always going to be flat. That's not a belief. But what's the Flat Earth Society doing? Well, they're talking about a horizon. Why? Because the globe Earth needs that to be an Earth curve edge. They need the discussion to hang, excuse the pun, on the horizon. Because that's where they'll go to. So why the Flat Earth Society going there? It's not useful to us. It might be part of a description that utilises flat plane measurements. But I'm not leaning into a horizon to prove a flat Earth. Don't need to. What's that? The globe do, though. So why would it be that the Flat Earth Society is talking about it? Because it's very useful to the globe rhetoric to have us, flat earthers, arguing about the horizon. So it's put out there front and centre by the Flat Earth Society controlled opposition narrative. So you, if you're a flat earther listening to this, talk about the horizon. Why? So that the globe earthers can argue its frickin' Earth curve. That's why.
Just wanted to see if it was worth joining. Like, it says they give out snacks.
Well, obviously, there's more reason to join than just having snacks.
Join what? There's nothing to join, right? If you want to join something, in my reference to memberships, patronage, super chats, things of those nature, they support me, Nathan Oakley, directly. That's what that's for. So I can feed my kids and keep a roof over my head. As for joining a group, there isn't one. There's just me and my selfish self asking you for money to keep a roof over my head, and that's it. That's a YouTube thing. What am I telling you? Earth's flat. That's how it's measured. Look at any measurement ever and you'll get that information. You don't need me for it. There's no cult. There's no group. There's nothing to join. Get on with your day. It's measured flat. Earth is measured flat. Always, for everyone, without exception. Now, bugger off. I don't even want you in my group. Get lost. You know it's flat now. Get lost. Piss off. I don't want you here. Don't want you in a group. What's that? You want to give me money? Oh, you're my friend again. Oh, if you want to support me. But as for being in a group of flat earthers, no. Flat earthers as a group is created by people on the end of this phone call, Flat Earth Society. People like Jaron. Scammers, shills and charlatans who want to flog you. An app like Dave Weiss that want to keep you corralled in a group. I don't want that. I want you, an audience member, to know it's flat based on the measurements. There's no ifs, there's no buts, there's no maybes, and there's no membership fees for knowing Earth's flat. And I can tell you it, detail it, and give it you beyond all doubt with measurements. And if you don't believe me, just ask any ball believer for any measurement that he thinks will support his ball faith, and it will also be flat. So we're clear to summarise, there is no group you need to be a part of that I will be offering you. There is no membership for a flat Earth that I can give you. Because Earth simply is measured flat.
Hold on. Why are you decrying a community that's been built here? I like this community.
My community.
We may not have a membership, but you have a nice community here.
Does my channel say Flat Earth something on it?
No, it's Flat Earth Debate.
No. My channel is not Flat Earth Debate. This show...
It's microphone eBay shop.
Ruining my point. Bastard. Very amusing. Speaking of microphones, right, I've got this Sony, right, that's a pro microphone. It's a hidden gem. Like, people talk about these old-fashioned microphones, and as you're learning this stuff, you think you're eventually going to come across some hidden gold in these old, dusty microphones, and you almost certainly won't. But just once in a while, there's a legitimate reason why some cheap domestic microphone is actually amazing. And that is the case in regards to one of the Sonys I've currently got up for sale. Now, because nobody knows that, I cannot, until I've fully tested it, justify charging an arm and a leg for this, even if it's ex-BBC. I can't justify until I can show why it's amazing. Now, Craig, who's on the panel at the moment, I dropped off a cable to him today, right, a lighting cable, and with a couple of blobs of solder, hopefully, he can rewire this cable and turn what was a domestic microphone back into a pro microphone. Because for the launch of mini discs, they pulled this pro microphone off their pro division shelves at Sony because they didn't have any money left to develop a microphone. They'd developed minidisc and needed a mic. So they put a pro mic with it for about 6 to 8 months and then developed something garbage to replace it with. Now, I've also got one of those for sale, and ironically, one of those, the garbage replacements, is a legitimate BBC mic. So the BBC used the domestic replacement for the Pro one that was used at the launch of Minidisc. Just, you can't make this stuff up. Very interesting and fascinating. Meanwhile, Earth's measured flat. You don't need to hang around here if you know that. Now, if you want to support me, I say that at the beginning of every show. If you want to support this channel, that's me. I'm Nathan Oakley 1980. I am not Flat Earth, right? I'm an individual with a family and a channel that I want money to keep going. Now, what do I talk about? I talk about Earth being flat, because it is, and it's really easy to prove. And the fact that it's really easy to prove means a couple of things. One, you need an entire narrative of shill-pushing assholes like Jaron and Dave and other associated scumbags to push narratives that have got nothing to do with flat Earth or Earth being flat, as is the measurement. Ooh, is that a microphone? Yeah. I don't think it is a microphone, actually. I think these are cables, aren't they? For the. Is it? I don't know what it is either. Can you grab me a knife? Talking to me. I've got some scissors. I know you're all
very unprofessional.
But this is my show. I'll do what I bleeding like. If I want to transition right here, right now, from Flat Earth debate, I could change the title now to, what did you just call it, Liam? You might curse yourself in a second when I change the title. It'll be no longer Flat Earth debate. It'll be Microphone Sales 101. Gone very quiet, you'll notice.
You see where you started, Liam? Your little funny opened up a door to mycomania.
Mycomania? It's a pure coincidence, right? But this is what I was actually talking about. This isn't the exact one, but it's close enough because we were talking about a Sony Pro microphone. Well, this particular microphone is not that exact replacement, but it's pretty close. So it's a Sony stereo microphone. If I can get my camera to focus on it. This is what's just come in the post. Much nicer condition than the other one I had to polish up. But this is a domestic microphone, right? Something that you or I would buy in Curry's or Tandy or Radio Shack or somewhere like that, right? Well, this is what they should have had for the launch of Minidisc and didn't. So they went to their Pro division and were like, give us a mic. We need to make this sound amazing when we first launch it. And they did. They just developed a cable to make it work with a domestic player. Well, I've got one of those mics. I'm not going to dig it out more. I'm talking about it. I don't care. I'm going to do it. Amongst my stock.
Morning, fellas.
You're all excited to hear about my microphones. I know you are. Morning, Chocolate.
Good morning, Chocolate. Welcome to the Mycomania Show, or Mike Ill Show.
So this, right, this is a Sony ECM MS 957. Now, this is what they launched with Minidisc. Now, this is a professional microphone. It has a professional microphone connection on the bottom of it. None of this garbage. I mean, wonderful mic, buy it on eBay. Top quality. None of this garbage captive cable crap, right? Proper DMX 5-pin XLR. Proper pro. This is on a domestic microphone that came with a mini disc player, right? It's not. It's nice, right? And I want to hear it balanced. So I've given, like I say, Craig at Click OK a cable that I've ordered from China that's the lighting standard that Sony used temporarily and then rewired. So I need to now get Craig to do what Sony did in the 90s and rewire a lighting cable to make it work with this mic so I can turn it back into the pro mic it started as, rather than using this garbage domestic cable connection. That's all they developed. So they developed this connection for that mic. Anyway, Earth's flat. That's how it's measured. And because of which I can take it easy. I can talk about mics, right? The only reason I need to talk about mics is linked. There's a reason I've done all this. Why have I just launched into a discussion about mics I'm selling? Because I have to. Because I know Earth's measured flat, and I can tell you, an audience member, Earth's measured flat, now get on with your day, I need to be suppressed to the point where after 10 years of YouTubing, I still struggle to pay the bills with my YouTube channel. Now, any other videographer who put the amount of time, effort into their videography as I did would not have that problem. But because I'm telling an audience that Earth is measured flat, they must suppress me and put out leaflets on lampposts to get Tiny Tim to phone somebody who's being paid to be cheery on the other end of the phone to say, oh, what do you believe in, Tiny Tim? Yeah. Me, I'm saying Earth's measured flat. I put an end to the discussion about whether or not Earth is flat. Yeah, it is. Every single functional example of any measurement ever of Earth is flat. That's the end of the discussion. As a consequence of that, I need to be censored. So I have to sell microphones to keep the roof over my head. That's the reality of why I have to sell microphones, because I'm a danger to the society that needs you, my audience, that's being taken away through censorship, to not appreciate that the world they've had the wool pulled over their eyes with, that's a globe Earth, isn't the world that we measure and navigate and negotiate and fly over and build on and dig through. All of those worlds, the reality worlds that we actually inhabit, they're all flat. And I talk about that. But like I say, you've got to create a controlled opposition narrative, and that's where the Flat Earth Society come in, and simultaneously the reason I need to be flogging microphones on eBay just to make ends meet while I write a book about the 10 years of experience I've got in this subject that doesn't result in a YouTube channel actually being capable of paying my bills. That's the wankers at YouTube and the US Congress together suggesting that because I talk about how Earth is actually measured, I need to be censored. Well, I just put out to my members, I will put it out to the public, challenge for Professor Brian Cox. Was it you, Liam, who suggested I did that? I took you up. Was it you?
Yeah.
Liam suggested yesterday that if I was to trim out the part of yesterday's show where I suggested to Brian Cox, on camera like I just was, that who's right? Me and the NTSB when we show measurements of a flat Earth in dealing with life and death scenarios, or Cox, who says that flat earthers believe that the flight crew are in on a big conspiracy. Cox being a man that was gaffer taped to a lighting rig when he was in Muso because the people around him in the production team thought he was a wanker and hated him. That lying shyster that people hated when he was a Muso now suggests that because we, by straw man, say that the flight crew are in on a big conspiracy, we shouldn't be allowed on planes. I say Cox shouldn't be allowed to breed. I mean, we can say what we like, right? Cox say I shouldn't fly, I say he shouldn't breed.
Yeah, but we don't say that. The Feast of Nonsense people say that. We just offer official data.
I say Cox is shown to be a wanker. That's why he had to be gaffer taped to a lighting rig, therefore he shouldn't breed.
Gaffer tape. That's a very coveted tape right there.
Yeah, reserved for taping wankers to lighting rigs. Anyway, my challenge is simple. Who's right? Me when I say Earth's measured flat, here's NTSB data where they investigate life and death scenarios in air crashes? Or Cox, who says that Sorry, what's that? Cox is telling you what I say? Yes, that's right. Cox is saying that I, a flat earther, not true, say that the flight crew are in on a big conspiracy. Professor Brian Cox. Yeah, that's what he says. I say Earth's measured flat, here's the NTSB data, where they investigate death. So who's correct? Yeah, I'll just give you the spoiler now, ladies and gentlemen, it's me. That's why I've got to sell microphones to keep the roof over my friggin' head. Cox, on the other hand, he gets a free pass, doesn't he? It doesn't change that he's a wanker and I'm well loved.
Yeah, but Nathan, they have to keep flat Earth as a conspiracy. We know that conspiracy is actually heliocentrism, but they have to keep the narrative alive that flat Earth is the conspiracy.
Nathan, does playing Fortnite keep a roof over your head?
No. I mean, it keeps material on screen when you guys are talking about some boring football game or baseball game that you watched.
I'm only pulling your leg. You'd have to justify it.
Hold on, that's not what we're talking about. Neil was saying hit play, but continue on.
Well, I think the moon landings are fake, and the sun and the moon look the same size, so...
You think they're fake, do you? You're paid to sit on the end of this phone, and your musings are what you've got to offer a phone call that comes your way. You think they're fake. Oh, well, Flat Earth Society woman who's being paid to sit on the end of this phone and react to the flyers that they've paid to print, and someone's been paid to go out and flyer these lampposts with them. She's not actually doing a very good job of proving Earth's flat. That's why they exist, though. That's their purpose. Not to prove Earth's flat. Or offer up musings about space and travel through a sky vacuum that the gas we're breathing at high pressure isn't filling, in line with entropic dispersion laws, entropy, second law of thermodynamics. Notice how I'm offering very sciencey sounding stuff, as opposed to, what do you think? What do you believe in? Yeah, very worth paying this person to talk about flat Earth and keep the narrative sounding dumb. I think the moon landings didn't happen. I know they didn't happen. It was on a stage. I know, because you can't traverse a sky vacuum through a rocket with a rocket that will, traverse the gas that we're all breathing that stops at the Kármán line. No, definitely not. Gas dispersion is governed by entropic laws of nature. Gas fills space, so we'd all be dead if there was an area that rockets could travel through. But that's me debunking the moon landings, as opposed to offering my musings at the end of a telephone. Lots of expense has gone into getting this phone call to take place, with flyers and some woman sat at the end of a controlled opposition phone line, paid to be there. And what's she got to offer? Her musings about what she thinks? Meanwhile, little old me who can't even keep the mortgage paid is telling you in no uncertain terms, using laws of nature, second law of thermodynamics, gas fills space. Space is fake. They never travelled through space to get to the moon. Ergo, that garbage is also fake. That's why I got to e-beg. That's why I got to sell mics. Because I can tell you these things as facts, rather than leaving them in the mind's eye of the listener, this case Tiny Tim, to make up his own mind about what he might or might not want to believe. Yeah, believe this, Earth's measured flat.
So I think they just orbit around a flat plate.
Orbit? What, like a Copernican derived from flat plane elevation angle measurements to stars and sun? Orbit, a heliocentric term. Why is this paid shill on the end of this phone line, having had some man or woman paste a flyer onto a lamppost to orchestrate this phone call to take place? Why is this her standard? Orbit? That's a Copernican heliocentric motion derived from flat plane elevation angle measurements. That's flat Earth angle measurements to the stars to give you the Copernican motion that she's just described. That makes no bastard sense on a globe or on a flat Earth.
Yeah, but when you look out into space and you can see...
Space? What, the one that's debunked by me? Yeah, that's why I've got to talk about microphones. Yeah? If you're on the phone with me, Tiny Tim, this is why I'm getting my audience to let you know, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment. Now, I don't take this out on you, Tim. In this instance, you've got the controlled opposition shill narrative of a flat Earth being presented to you by a paid shill at the end of this phone. And your response is, what about what happens in space? Yeah, that's why I need censoring. Because if you're talking to me, what are you going to do? Describe how the second law of thermodynamics isn't applicable to your sky vacuum they travelled through. Yeah, that won't wash here, Tim. You won't be arguing with me about the second law of thermodynamics. It's a law of nature. But the Flat Earth Society narrative that you can have on the end of this shill phone call that you're having will tell you that, oh, well, I just think the moon landings didn't happen.
Mars, it's round.
Mars is round? No, what, circular? Two-dimensional through your telescope.
So all the other planets are round, but ours is just flat. Is that what you...
No, we're not on a planet, we're not on a plane in regards to orbital motion. Those are descriptions that are mathematically mused into existence by Copernicus after measuring a flat Earth with angles to the stars. That's what they actually are. But obviously the Flat Earth Society shill narrative that's going to get punted to him now isn't going to cover that. I will. That's why I need censoring. Because I'm going to tell you in no certain terms, there is no space, Tiny Tim. The sky is not a vacuum. It's a violation of a law of nature.
What are you saying?
Well, I think so.
Oh, well, I think so. Well, that's a fantastic rebuttal. Pay her to sit on the end of that phone call. Pay someone to pass her up bloody leaflets so that she gets phone calls, so we can hear what she thinks. Meanwhile, censor Nathan Oakley, because Nathan Oakley will tell you in no uncertain terms that the second law of thermodynamics is not for violating. The sky is not a vacuum. Gas fills space. Good afternoon, the Adam Meakin.
Afternoon, guys.
Vidali says, thanks for teaching me gas filled space. Oh, well, you're very welcome. Anyway, there's a link going by to Tiny Tim. I do actually want you to let him know. Tiny Tim's presumably doing this because he's considered flat Earth when he's read this poster. So now he needs his head filled with garbage so he can discount it as being nonsensical gibberish when he puts the phone down. Meanwhile, I'm actually responding to him. And hopefully, YouTube don't have any control over my actual audience going to Tim and telling him from multiple accounts that no, you've actually got a response from a real flat earther, not a shill on the end of the phone being paid to tell you about her musings that also violate the second law of thermodynamics and require flat earth angle measurements to stars to create Copernican orbital motion.
Oh, you know, like you're a flat earther.
Yeah.
But if you're flying high enough, you can see the curvature.
So if you're flying high enough, Tim, you'd be measuring your height off surface level. Your height, elevation, is parallel eye level with surface level. That's how altitude, height, how high you are, is measured. Now, she's just told you something about the horizon never bending. Now, it doesn't. It's axiomatically tied to it being, by way of description, horizontal. Shocking, isn't it? Meanwhile, in your Earth curve rhetoric, you've got a horizon that we debunked as Earth curve 5 years ago. Obviously, at the height of our censorship, you wouldn't be wanting to have debunkings of Earth curve geometry that also use flat plane measurements of surface level for heights above it. You wouldn't want them being described by actual flat earthers as debunked. You need Flat Earth Society rhetoric on the end of paid shill phone lines plastered up on lampposts with sticky flyers.
Yeah, you can see that it's round. There's pictures
I
from
believe it is.
space that show that
He told you, second time around, the Flat Earth shill on the end of this phone's telling him about what she believes. I believe it is. He's talked about the horizon bending. Horizons don't bend. He's talked about going up in elevation. That's measured off a flat Earth. That's a flat Earth proof. Is she whistling past it? Of course. She's telling you about her beliefs. Because that's what flat Earth needs to be. It needs to be your belief in a flat Earth, rather than it just being measured flat, which it is.
the Earth is round.
No, it's measured flat, Tim. You talked about your altitude for seeing a curve of the horizon that no one's ever seen ever. Because axiomatically it can't do that. The base word itself, horizontal, is derived from a horizon in terms of what it is.
Well, yeah, but do you believe everything you see in...
Back to the third time she's mentioned belief. Yeah? Like I say, this is why I have to be censored, because I'm not telling you to believe me. I'm not telling you to join my group that you can later have relinquished like Jaren's just done. Join my cult of Jarenism, so I can tell you Earth's flat and give you a few reasons to believe it. And then when I tell you not to believe it, you can bugger off and back to your globe belief. And you can believe in that again, can't you? Now here, on the other hand, Earth's measured flat. For everyone, always. Be them globe believers or not, if you believe you're going to have a measurement of Earth, it will be flat.
space. Have you been to space recently?
Have you been to space? So she's inferring that there is a space to go to as opposed to what I do in my censored channel, where YouTube sees fit for me to be censored when I say that the second law of thermodynamics dictates that gas fills space. That's a law of nature. It's not something I've made up. It's not my belief. But on this mainstream channel, we've got Flat Earth Society shill on the end of a phone call telling you what she believes for the third time. Because it's got to be made into a belief. Flat Earth is not a belief, but that's what it needs being turned into right here, right now, in front of your very eyes. For Tim. And his 1.5 million followers. Who now believe that's what Flat Earth is.
Exactly, you haven't.
Yeah.
No, I haven't, but, you know, that's my opinion. How do you go up into space?
Second time she suggested that space is real. No, space would be a 10 to the minus 17 Torr sky vacuum in the Copernican orbital motion that you said that you believed the sun and moon were performing over a flat plane to make it seem like you have some semblance of flat earthism inside you. Meanwhile, the height that you'll go is measured off a flat Earth. And the space that he's suggesting he's going to, and you're asking him about from a flat earther's flat Earth shill perspective, would be in violation of the second law of thermodynamics, as I've detailed. Yeah, censor that man. Make sure he can't make a living and keep his family fed. Yeah, this chuckling bitch can have a living, telling you that she believes this and believes that.
You fly up, not around.
Up is with respect to a flat plane. She won't tell you that. She's a paid shill. Like Dave Weiss and Jaron and the rest of the shits that are in this community.
But why do you believe it's round?
Fourth time she's mentioned belief. Earth is measured flat. Yeah? I'm sick of these flat earth shills like this bitch telling you about what you need to believe in. It's measured flat. There's no belief involved. Why the hell is Tiny Tim being told for the fourth time about beliefs? Yeah, you've got heights being discussed. The height will be measured off a flat earth. Earth is measured flat.
Round, Tim. You give me your reasoning because I've given you mine.
See,
No, what you've done is suggested there's a belief to have and then made it about that belief that you've suggested you've offered him. I don't give a toss what this paid shill's belief is when I know it's flat. Yeah? Why am I having to struggle to hit 100 views on a live stream after 10 years of videography talking about this subject? I am an expert. This chuckling cow is merely asking a phone caller that is random, she hasn't even got his name, why he believes in a globe and offering her belief in a measured flat earth. Yeah? She don't sound like she's struggling. She don't sound like she's got to interrupt this phone call to talk about the friggin' eBay sales that she's got to do to keep her head above water after 10 years of doing it. Does she? She sounds quite happy. Yet me, I struggle to keep a roof over my head because I talk about how facts of Earth measurement prove it's flat.
pictures on Google.
At the end of the day, it's flat. Why are maps flat then, Tim? Why are maps flat?
I take it back, she did get his name. That was obviously edited out, my bad.
Yeah, maps, you know, a map.
Well, so that's a map? A globe is round?
Sorry, we're negotiating the world and navigating the world with maps. And you're saying, but because a globe's round, Tim. I mean, I get it. You're appealing to the lowest common denominator. The stupidest dregs of society that are amused by this kind of crap. But that's your rebuttal, is it, Tim? While you can't keep focus on a voice and a decent response to the lowest quality of flat earther imaginable, a controlled opposition shill who has offered absolutely nothing. But when she gets to say maps are flat, they are. All of them. Why? Well, because they need to reference measurements of the ground for distances. And those things will kill you if you get them wrong. So they're going to be accurate. We're navigating with them, and they're flat for a reason. So they match the linear distances in miles that can only be flat. Or kilometres that can only be flat when we negotiate the terrain. That is unequivocally flat by way of demonstration in the maps. What's that, Tim? But a globe's round. What a fantastic rebuttal.
That's actually a fair point, but still.
And yet, the shill from the Flat Earth Society agrees with him. I say it's a garbage response, and that she's actually got a good point that all maps are flat, when he says the shittiest possible rebuttal, but a globe's round. She agrees. Yeah. Give her a mortgage that can be paid. Me, I need to struggle, because I'm going to tell you in no uncertain terms that this man on the end of the phone, talking about how high he is off a surface level, would be a measurement that proved in no uncertain terms that Earth's flat. Censor me into obscurity.
Still, I'm not having it.
I know.
Wait, what? Is this a serious show? Like, why does it sound like this? Like, why does it sound like two kids talking to each other? This is weird.
Because we live in a society of retards that are dumbed down to the point where this will get 1.5 million subscribers because society is full of retards. That is why.
Copy that.
Why am I even arguing this?
You're not. Your argument was, but globes around when told that maps are flat. Useful, practical tools we use for navigation are flat, you are told. But the globe is round, and the response you got with that's a fair point, end quote. Controlled opposition flat earth shill.
I'm telling you now, the earth is round.
Well, that's a fantastic, amazing, incredible rebuttal. I'll just pack up and go home, shall I, Tim? What about miles, Tim? Are they round and curving, or are they linear? What about heights, Tim? You measured going up and seeing a curved horizon. How high did you get, Tim? Oh, you'll need a flat earth to answer me, because you'll be measuring your height off surface level. With respect to sea level, yeah, that will be a flat earth prerequisite that you've used here, Tim. But you're telling me that you believe, like every other wanker you appeal to with this garbage, that it's a globe. Wow, you're such a free thinker.
It's not flat. It can't be.
Well, how do we measure it? Oh, well, that would be flat, Tim. Like on the maps. Like for miles and distances and such.
Flat.
But you just say it isn't. That's called a hand-wave dismissal fallacy.
Can't be flat.
But no, that's you questioning the existence of flatness and offering literally nothing other than you saying it can't possibly be so.
So have you called me up today to join the society?
No, you daft slag. The fuck do you think he called to join? He's just told you 3 times it isn't flat. Your response to that is to ask if he wants a frigging membership. Yeah, she doesn't sound like she's struggling to pay her mortgage, does she? Yeah, she's not breaking into a microphone demonstration in the middle of this shit.
Because you're interested in it being flat, or you just called me up to state your argument about it being round, Tim?
I called up to see what snacks you had.
Well, unfortunately, if you don't believe that the world...
Nothing to do with belief. Correct me if I'm wrong, is that not the 4th time she's used that word? No belief involved, Earth's measured flat. Miles, heights off surface level. That's what we've had in this discussion.
is flat, then you don't...
Good.
Don't forget for our farmer friends, acres as well. And I think this is a mistake doing this video. We're just joining in on the mockery.
What do you mean, we're joining in on the mockery? No, we're not. I'm giving an audience
We're promoting
facts.
it.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I can only give Tim decent information in terms of where he's using flat Earth measurements for heights off surface level or distances in miles on maps, where the flat Earth shill isn't giving him any of that. She's now being quite combative after suggesting that he might want to join. Now, maybe if she'd have told him Earth's measured flat, he might want to join a group. Now, I'm not suggesting that you'd want to join my group. I'm not offering a group to join. Once you know it's flat, what are you going to do? Sit around arguing with me, telling me you believe otherwise? I couldn't give a crap what you believe. I know it's flat.
Don't have a snack.
This is a bit lumpy, this one. The council haven't done well with this one. It's a bit round. It's a bit round, this pavement, so...
Well, I'll find something that's flat, that's for sure.
You go back.
What, like miles, linear distances, heights off surface level, elevation angle measurements, all of these things that we measure Earth with? Will you do that, love? I mean, it's not like you were on a channel that had 1.5 million views.
Can you have a look at some of the pictures from space and tell me that I'm wrong?
Sorry, pictures from a second law of thermodynamics violating sky vacuum, Tim. Now, you see, there's this thing called entropy. It's described in a law of nature called the second law of thermodynamics. It describes how gas fills space. So you can understand, in childish terms, when you pass gas, Tim, it doesn't fall down, go boom, boom, and make a puddle. It disperses throughout the availability of volume. That's to say, your flatulence is a demonstration of entropic dispersion, gas filling space. Now, that's even with all of the existing gas getting in the way of your flatulence. It still spreads out with all of the other gases getting in its way. It'll still spread out throughout your whole house and eventually dissipate into the rest of the air around you. It's a law of nature that gas fills space. Now imagine that there wasn't any gas impeding your fart, Tim. Just a massive empty area of space. What do you think would happen to your fart then? Do you think it would fall down, go boom, boom, go splash, splash like a puddle? Or do you think it would fuck off into space instantly? Like every bit of gas we're breathing, Tim. If the sky was a vacuum, then the gas we are breathing would fill the space. It is a law of nature. Second law of thermodynamics, entropic dispersion.
Okay.
Look, you really...
You see, now she's getting really combative. Yeah? Why? What's she got to come back? This guy is a clown, clearly. But yet she's getting really aggressive with him. It's almost like this is staged.
Winding me up now, Tim, because at the end of the day, I put my number on that for genuine people to be part of my society.
No, this is bullshit. You're just a paid shill. You paid people to put up that flyer so people could be part of your society. Well, then why don't you offer some actual evidence, like flat earth measurements? Now, the people who actually have that get censored. You asked him about his belief 4 times. That's what you actually did. And then when he said that it isn't a flat earth, because you had nothing to suggest it was, you asked him if he wanted a membership. Now you're getting combative. So this is just making us look like we're idiot shills that don't know what we're talking about and have a belief to offer. Oh, and a membership badge.
Not to ring up and counter-argument the fact that it's round when it's flat. So I am going, goodbye.
What proof that was, huh? Excellent proof.
Yeah, that's what you get from the Flat Earth Society. Some combative
There are people
cow
who will look at
asking
this
if
and
you
say,
want to
Lewis,
join,
in our
and then
country,
getting stroppy with
we
you
believe...
because you simply rebut her with, it's round. Well, how wonderful. That was Tiny Tim. I should really do the plug again. I will. Please let Tiny Tim know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get eradicated by the YouTube algorithmic bots. That is to say, don't be too passive-aggressive. Just let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a nice comment. There is a link to Tiny Tim going by in the live stream chat right now as we speak. So I'm not saying it for my health. If you are in the live stream now, currently, there are 76 people watching. Please click on that link and actually go to Tiny Tim's channel now, while we are live, and make him aware at Nathan Oakley 1980, a genuine flat earther, not a controlled opposition shill being paid to sit at the end of a phone, having had some other person, not her, go out and fly her to get her aggressive manner on those phone calls with people like Tim, if that wasn't entirely staged by Tim himself, for all I know. Who cares? It makes no difference. That's what reaches the millions on Tim's channel. Yeah?
Oh, it was definitely staged, Nathan, because they got to keep making a mockery out of flat Earth. That's a fact.
Yeah, but that's what's tolerable, right? That's what is allowed.
Well, it's been that way from the beginning. Even I remember when I was in school, they showed you a boat falling over a flat edge and everybody laughed when the teacher said this is what they thought the Earth was. So nothing's changed.
I don't know if you know you're silent, Nathan.
I was talking to myself about microphones.
Stay on mute then.
Probably for the best. No, that Sony microphone is a fantastic microphone. It's a pro microphone that would have been only available to pro users had it not been for Minidisc. But they created a cable that turned it into domestic standards like you'd get on the end of a pair of headphones. A 3.5mm L-shaped domestic garbage connection. And yeah, with a little bit of wiring know-how and an order for a Chinese cable, we can get that sucker working back in pro form with 3.5mm being converted to XLR left and right. But yeah, I can't wait to hear it. Like, I've already tried it because of the way the capsules are wired, they're cancelling each other out. So instead of getting a beautiful stereo signal, I'm getting almost silence, which is good because it means the capsules are so well balanced that they are so close to each other that when one's got the phase inverted, they're cancelling each other out. So you can just make out yourself on the recording when I listen to it back. I could just hear myself. So I'm like, okay, so the capsules are so well balanced and so well matched that when one of them has the phase inverted, they are literally cancelling each other out, and they're separate capsules. So I cannot wait. I really can't wait to try that microphone properly. The 957, that is. I think it's called an ECM 957 MS. From 1997. There you go. For sale on eBay. I think I got it for 80 quid. I wish I could get more for it. It's worth more. Probably a 200 quid, 300 quid microphone, second hand. That is to say that its new value would have been in the hundreds, maybe £700 as a pro microphone in the 90s. Anyway, I'll bore you all with it with a proper video dedicated to that one Sony microphone. Because I know you're all very keen. Did you want to carry on with Dave Weiss tomorrow, Neil? Or should we do a bit of Jaren once Huey's got dibs out of the way?
Well, let's see. Let's see what QE gets done today. And we'll make that decision tomorrow, I think. But there are some good parts on the Dave Weiss video coming up, especially with this engineer guy.
There's some good parts.
That's today. The Simon and Jaren is today.
No. They did it some time ago, but QE's going to be covering it today. So be here or be sphere on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel tonight in about 5 hours' time. 7 p.m. UK, 2 p.m. Central Standard. As I say, on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel. He's going to be covering Simon, Dan, and Jarenism. Apparently, I'll get mentioned a few times.
I'm going to need lots of popcorn, some soda, pretzels.
Yeah, fun will be had by all. So yeah, check out Quantum Eraser's channel tonight.
Speaking of popcorn, do you know that when Tom Cruise is gone, he is the last of the movie stars?
What do you mean, the last of the movie stars? What are you talking about?
Well, you're talking about popcorn. He was on a video the other day, and he goes to the theaters, and he actually eats popcorn. And he was talking about the things that he does in this new movie. But if you think about it, he's the last of the movie stars because nobody packs out theaters like he does. He still sells them out. He does his own stunts. He's relentless. And he's a Scientologist.
I thought he'd left Scientology. I saw a video from Growing Up in Scientology that alluded to the idea that Tom Cruise had left Scientology. Now, maybe that was just clickbait, but...
That would be great.
I don't know if it was clickbait. That might have just been clickbait. I'll have to check it out. It was on the Growing Up in Scientology channel.
To me, he seems too smart to not realize that that's a cult.
Well, like I say, maybe he's left. Can someone let us know from the chat, has Tom Cruise actually left Scientology? Or is that just me reading headlines? Well, it is literally me reading headlines. But maybe someone will fill us in if somebody's kept up to date with Tom Cruise's Scientology affairs. I'm sure you're all really keen.
It says no. Tom Cruise has not left the Church of Scientology. While there have been rumors and speculations, especially in recent years, there's no concrete evidence or confirmation that he has left. In fact, Cruise has continued to be publicly associated with the church, even flying a helicopter into its London headquarters in 2023 to demonstrate his commitment. There you go.
Well, there you go. Right, I need to figure out how to turn off the sounds on Teams because it's getting through to my live audience, which is no good. I can't have that. Right, I'll figure that out at a later date. I don't know if I've got any other microphone news I can give you.
Thank God for that.
Things are doing really well, though, as far as microphones are concerned. Selling lots of them.
You could give a book update. There are people waiting.
Yeah, book update. Adam's probably better served to answer that question, as he's the one currently with his fingertips on the keyboard as we edit the book. You there, Adam?
Yeah, I just got back. Yeah, I think we are, happily into chapter 8, finished. Final reading with what we finished last night. It's funny, isn't it? Because you get to that chapter and we never included. So we spent the whole evening, didn't we, last night, rewriting or adding in about how you can't use radar off of black bodies. And never even occurred to us previously. So it keeps growing, doesn't it, in terms of the depth of knowledge that we're giving people. But once you remember something like that, you can't not put it in.
Well, it's your specific remembrance of that, which is worth noting here, because throughout the writing of this book, right, there's been an underlying understanding that nobody will get a mention. That is to say, even Simon Dan, when you and your reference frames have been ruined, is discussed in the book, which it is. Simon Dan's name doesn't get brought up. He doesn't get a mention. However, and neither does anybody else on my own side, up until now. That's about to change in the next 20 seconds. But up until this point, nobody gets any acknowledgement, right? Now, that's not just out of selfish endeavours, keeping it mine. And as much as over the last few weeks I've been joking about Brian trying to make it seem like it isn't my book as we go through the process, especially with stuff like this, Adam doing a lot of work, which brings me to my next point. Adam, and indeed Quantum Eraser, will be acknowledged in this book. And only Adam and Quantum Eraser.
Even if you didn't, it would be hard to hide it.
The reason is because they have done a huge amount of work and absolutely without question deserve acknowledgement in the book. So at some point, Adam's and Quantum Eraser's name, that'd be John Stunyer and Adam Meakin, will be mentioned by name. So that's something that has altered in the last couple of weeks, mainly because of the amount of bloody work they've both put in. And they have put a huge amount of work into this book, make no mistake. So they'll get acknowledged on it. It's still my book. You can both fuck off in that regard. It's mine. But you'll get a mention, you'll get acknowledged for sure.
Might drop on the last page will do me. It's one of those things, it is your book. It's been a pleasure to be able to keep adding and using our knowledge in. So hopefully it's a benefit to everyone. And so labour of love, not a quest for cash. And that's really kind of you to get the name in there. It's kind of all I'd want, so that in 20 years' time, and I'm in a pub or a nice cafe bar in Italy, I'm not actually arguing with somebody to say, no, I did write this. I made a major part in writing this. Honestly, I can prove it. It'd be very nice, that.
Only fitting. You guys deserve it.
Absolutely. You know, there's a wealth of knowledge that has come not just from me, but in this instance from both Quantum Eraser and Adam Meakin in terms of their input as the book has been edited. So a huge amount of knowledge has been imparted as the polishing process has taken place. Well, that polish is very thick, therefore requires acknowledgement. So that will be the case. Adam and QE will be acknowledged in the book. And up until now, while I've been suggesting that there will be no acknowledgement for anybody, it's been discussed in hushed tones as, oh, well, this certain aspect of the book has got a very QE vibe to it. Well, if I just acknowledge that fact in the book, that is to say, I would like to give my massive appreciation to Quantum Eraser for its help and knowledge and understanding in writing this book, for example, right? Then I don't need to make any apologies for why there's certain aspects that have got a twang of QE to them or a twang of Adam Meakin to them. Now, if you spot your twang in there, tough luck. Yeah, put in 25, 30, 50, 70 hours, and then you might get a mention, like Adam has. Right, Adam?
Oh, yeah. I think there's bits of the text that you will recognise, people, because it's like, they're good liners. And even if it is just hovering over New York waiting to catch a Dodgers game, that's one of my favourites.
Right.
So, but thank you, that's really nice. And
but it's just things like, for example, it's worthy of acknowledgement, regardless of it being mine by me taking ownership of this stuff. Now, I encourage others to do this, but QE doesn't necessarily do it. Quite the opposite. Don't use my argument if you've fallen out with me, is his attitude. Total polar opposite to me. I'm like, no, that's your argument now. You take ownership of it. But in any event, there's certain arguments that I will use that are QE's arguments, right? Charlotte, North Carolina to Los Angeles would only take an hour and a half if Earth was turning underneath. What's that, Simon Dan? You and your reference frames are ruined. Yeah, I don't need to change that to Birmingham to Dublin. I don't need to do that, do I? Yeah?
No. Perfect the way it is. And by the way, from what I heard yesterday, every argument is QE's, right, Adam?
You can look at it that way. QE is incredibly influential. Give him even less subscribers than me. Make damn sure he's not paying the mortgage with this stuff. On the other hand, right, life is sweet. I should put this disclaimer in right just before I write a roundup. Life could not be more sweet, and life isn't just about money, yeah? And I'm learning that more and more and more as time progresses, yeah? Now, I made a conscious decision to do in life what I enjoyed doing, not what was most profitable. Now, after I made the decision to make life more profitable, there's a good chance I wouldn't be sat as I am now. Now, typically, you'll hear me shuffling around if I'm about to put the camera on. But this is how I'm sat, right? I am incredibly relaxed whilst making my live show. Now, earlier, Sensual Goat's like, were you playing Fortnite at the end of your show? Yes, I was playing Fortnite at the end of my show. I am very privileged to be able to say I almost make a living and can almost pay the mortgage whilst playing a game of Fortnite on my after show. That's a lovely, privileged position that I'm in. And I'm truly, truly honoured and blessed to be doing this. Now, there's plenty of people who are on our opposing side that do not feel blessed. Not at all. They're in a lot of pain. I'm not. Now, I might be poor, but I'm not in mental pain and anguish, which our opponents are in most of the time. Now, Jaren's joined that side. Good for you. Me, I sleep nice and easy. But with that, I am going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Programming Streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow.
Book is going to be really good.
Yes, it is, Neil.
That's what happens here. Why would the book be in?
What was that? Why would they lie?
Oh, say that. I'd say that. I said that's what happens here. Like nothing gets by. So why would that be different in the book? You know what I mean?
Guns in the chat. He brought up bad flat earth rhetoric and asked if in the book there would be something specific toward bad flat earth rhetoric and, you know, how to spot it, how to get around it.
No, that's in All Roads Lead to a Flat Earth Part 2. This time it's personal.
Earth flatter.
Listen, just the arguments we present is enough.
Flattery.
You don't need to go over the bad
flattery.
ones.
So basically, if it's not, probably consider it bad flat earth rhetoric. I would say, instead of including the bad rhetoric in the book, just leave the bad rhetoric out. Then you'll know it's bad because it's not in the book.
Hold on. Who'd you say requested that? Guns? Was he trying to prolong this process? What's going on?
No.
You don't want this book to be released, buddy?
I just threw that in there. I'm sorry.
Hey, Guns.
Yeah, hi, everybody. I wanted to mention, as far as shills are concerned, speaking of shills, okay, there's many ways to get paid. Okay, so for instance, if one person has a record, they can have their criminal record expunged if they do this for the government. They get their bills paid. They get the gas paid, car repairs, mortgage paid, cash, whatever. But there's all different walks of life that are shilled. And, you get the bad, and then gift cards were for the low end ones. They give them, like $500 gift cards for here and there.
Can you hook me up with a number
But,
so I can? Yeah.
Pardon me?
Hold on.
Just
Hold on a
DM me
second.
the contact.
Oh, yeah.
Time.
Like
you could
$500
get
gift
one
cards. But I was
second,
gonna say,
Robert. You can get
I'm
something
sorry.
expunged through time if enough time has passed. Like for instance, my conviction, I could get that expunged if I want. I'm just too lazy to go through
Oh,
the
yeah.
process.
After 7 years or whatever. Yeah, no, but I mean, these people can get it. Say they have a criminal record or tickets. They have 100 speeding tickets. They can get them canceled instantly the minute they get trained to be a shill. So you don't have to wait the 7 years to be expunged or whatever. Well, whatever the time limit is, I'm not sure these days if they change it or not. But back in the day, that's all I know is they used to, expunge people's criminal records. Only the ones they picked. I don't know how they pick them though, because that's a separate sector altogether. I don't even know how they picked them, but they're all walks of life, as you noticed. They're all walks of life can be a shill, and they all have different methods of payment, or a lot of them have the same. Like I think Dale, for instance, I think he was really money strapped. Do you remember a couple of years back? He was like trying to sell his motorbike. He had no money, and he was having trouble supporting his family. So obviously, he was approached, and now he never talked about money or anything after you start talking about the upward earth and all that stuff.
I'd be
All of a sudden, his
careful.
financial problems are okay. Oh, I'm being honest. I don't have to be careful. I don't have to
Yeah, but
worry.
you can't validate that. That's bad to put on somebody, especially somebody like
Oh my
Dell.
God. Okay, if you say, but I'm just going from what I know. So I'm sorry. If you don't believe it, that's fine. Like, come on, why would Dale just change his philosophy about flat Earth?
Because
Just
he threw a
changed
bottle out a
overnight.
window.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. That was part of the confusion, the confused flat earthers. It's so obvious. Like, I don't know how you can't see that. Why would he want to throw a bottle out of the window when his older shows, he's continuously, pointing out the actual flat earth proofs. And then all of a sudden he comes out with this uprising earth and equilibrium and all this bullshit, like, come on, like anybody, common sense. He needed money. Like, I don't know, it's like, look at the other guys. All of a sudden they're well off. Like Darren and Elijah's got all these fancy gear and all this stuff, and he was strapped before when he had marriage problems, remember?
Has that become a lucrative decision for Dell? Is he rolling in the dough now that the earth is rising upwards, according to him?
Well, maybe his mortgage is getting paid. Maybe all his bike loan is paid off.
You see, hold on, Robert. That's the key word you're using. Maybe, maybe, maybe. You don't know that for sure.
Well,
Maybe.
I'll say I'm 80% sure. How about that? I see the signs. Okay, I read it. I can read the signs because I know from the past how this works. Okay.
Yeah, I'm reading the signs too, right now.
Remember him and Marty? Remember all of a sudden him and Marty were throwing bottles and putting them in balloons in the van and you're in the car and this and that. He wasn't doing that before. He just all of a sudden changed his. And it's just like Rachie, 5-0. They were adversaries, and then all of a sudden they're allies. It's so weird. Anyway, whatever. Go on. Continue the after show. That was just my 2 cents worth. I'm just going by what I know and just the signs. The signs. All of a sudden, he's throwing bottles out of windows, talking about uprising Earth and the gravity, this or that, or everything's coming up to you when you jump off a building. The Earth is coming up to you. Like, come on. It's retarded, right? Remember before his older videos, he was like,
That's very Brian Cox of. Oh, that's very Einstein of him. Oh, that we were the
exactly.
ones
There
making
you go.
globe claim, according to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just leave it to you guys, just whatever you think. But he used to be a great flat earther. Like he was I used to watch his show all the time. I tried to go on there, they wouldn't let me on. As guns, I could never get on the show. I would get shut down, because if I start talk too much, I always get in shit. So that's why it sounds like I'm talking sort of vaguely.
So you sent him an email to get on? Because if you send him an email, you can make the call and get on his show.
Oh, I did.
And you're
I did
saying he would
everything.
not let you?
I told you what happened is my internet was shut down. I was talking to somebody else about this. It'd be off for 45 minutes. 3 separate times I tried to go on Dale's show. I couldn't get on through the email. Also, my internet goes off. In my apartment building, I was the only one. So I went to the neighbors, knocked on the doors. Mine was out for 45 minutes. And once he came back on, Dale's show was over. I don't know, just stuff like that.
That's a sign, man. That's a sign. I agree.
Maybe I'm just being
100%
maybe I'm
guns.
just being paranoid. Yeah, maybe I'm being what, cement shoes? The next level, cement shoes into the Wascana Lake.
Signs, man. Signs.
They don't really bother people that have connections, like that are still working inside and stuff. They don't really hassle you too much, it's like they'll turn your internet off instead of, like, the boss man coming and say, hey, shut your mouth or whatever. Why are you talking about your pilot friends? Like, what the hell? They're quiet for 38 years. They couldn't say anything, but we talked the last 10 years or so. I talked to them all the time in confidence, but they weren't allowed. 3 of them, Canadian Air Force pilots, they weren't allowed to say anything to any civilians or anything about their actual observations, like of the terrain or whatever. Just they weren't allowed to talk about that. They could bullshit and lie, say, oh yeah, I went over.
Any globers in Discord? I'd like to know what type of day it is. Is it Earth too big day? Is it we negotiate curve and measure it? Which type of day is it?
Been a long time, right, Chalk? The ball has been in here. We used to say, ballers, come out to play, eh?
Yeah, I'll still give him a shot every once in a while. Just like omnivore and or the other guy. What's his name? Yuka.
Ayuka. Hello? Nathan?
I mean that's what we called him when his voice changer was working.
I'm not Elder Bear. I'm Hayuka. Nathan?
Level is a point along the vertical datum, Nathan.
That was good.
Flashbacks.
Especially that one time when he lost his voice and he became Elder Bear. He stepped out of character.
I don't think he lost it. I think he was just talking or speaking without being muted and didn't have that thing on. You can clearly hear it with him. It was
Yeah.
weird.
Stepped out of character. He thought the cameras weren't rolling.
QE, you there?
Betcha.
Can you confirm that we're listening to, we're being graced by the presence of Simon, Dan, and Jaron this evening?
Correct.
Can't wait.
We had to stop Nathan from going over it.
Should have never told him about it.
He was chomping at the bit.
I took a chance on telling him about it. I'm looking at
Is it on
Master
this
B.
channel?
Looking at Master B, and I see a video. I haven't looked at Liam. Is that you?
No, not on this channel. On Quantum Eraser YouTube channel.
No, I'm looking at Master B right now. What the hell are you talking about?
Someone in Discord asked if it was taking place on this channel, and I'm saying no, it's taking place on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel. Be Here or Be Sphere, 7 p.m. UK, 2 p.m. Central Standard. Quantum Eraser YouTube channel.
I already put the ad over in Discord. Can they see?
See the ad for the YouTube channel known as Quantum Eraser.
Yes.
7 p.m. UK, 2 p.m. Central Standard. That advert.
Yeah.
No, they can't see that now.
Okay. So back to my point. Liam put a video in here. I haven't pulled it up yet. It says Bob tries debunking Taboo Ben with, guess what? Refraction. How's he going to do that when Taboo Ben is a big refraction guy?
A big refraction guy?
Oh, yeah. But Ben's all about, he's silly with it.
Okay. It's actually relatively short for Bob. Yeah, he is quite boring, but he kept this one short and sweet, so I appreciated it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'll have to check that out later. Sorry. Or we could go over it right now.
Let's go.
Sounds good.
You can do that if you want.
We're all ready, Nathan.
You go ahead. I'm all with you. I'm with you all the way.
I'm all with you. Adam. Shut up. Adam. Is he an absentee landlord again? He just pops his placard in here like he's here and then doesn't do anything.
I called on him before. I got no answer, so I'm thinking he must be busy.
Oh, I got to go for a couple. I'll be back. I know you'll miss me.
You see, if you did go over that video, Nathan, the people that wait for the Uncut and After show, it would make their day when they could plop that on when you release it and hear another.
Think of the money people will be throwing at you in appreciation.
Come again? What? You want me to cover Bob?
Yeah, when Kiwi comes back, play it for a little bit. It's been a while since we did that.
Yeah, we'll definitely cover it on tomorrow's show.
Sorry about that. I was babbling on and my phone went off. Sorry.
No apologies necessary.
Continue, Neil. I love listening to you. I love the New York accent. Joe Pesci. I just love it. The New York accent. I wish I could do a New York accent. I just love how it sounds. Like the thick. Are you Brooklyn or where are you from? Manhattan, Brooklyn?
We all find it really irritating. I'm quite surprised to hear that.
I thought you know where I'm from.
No, was it Brooklyn or?
So you say it's surprisingly easy to become a shill, you say, Guns?
Why are you interested?
Absolutely. Yes,
when
please.
You're desperate enough, eh?
Bill was paid for.
Are you recruiting?
Not me, no. No, are you kidding?
You know, I got you. Nod. You know a man. I know what you're saying. Say no more.
Wink, Running Man. Yeah, I'm going to fall into the lake with cement shoes. Yeah, that's right. Never
Are
to
you
be
a
found
traveling
again.
man, Guns?
No. No, I have a lot of family and friends that are. I never did. Like I told you guys before, like even on my panel, my what do you call it? You know, on my my channel, the what do you call that? The banner. I have Masonic rings. I own a bunch of Masonic rings. That I just thought they looked cool, so I made a picture, like a photo. Yeah.
It's about to say yes.
I am not. I am not a Mason. I know of them, and I know of many of them over the years, and I sort of have a clue of their doings, like their little club, their little secrets they have, and and I can't talk about that stuff. Or I'm serious. I'll end up.
Hold on. Is it on 333rd Street?
Yeah, here in Regina. The lodge is on the 330 Broad Street, I do believe. Yeah. 330, 33. They always get a building that starts with 33 or ends with 33 or has 33 in it, and mine. But what's Pennsylvania Avenue? That's 1600, I think. The White House, yeah, it's on Pennsylvania Avenue. I forget that, but 3/4 of those guys are Masons anyway. 2/3 of all politicians are Masons. This is just what I heard, okay? You don't have to believe me, but you guys probably believe that.
Yeah, you heard it at the meetings. I got you.
They're running everything. Like they're like the middleman. They're in there deep. They're deep seated into the what do you call it? It's just into the business of deception. They're right in there, like 9/11. I shouldn't even be saying this. 9/11, the Sandy Hook, and you just name it. It just goes on. The list goes on and on and on. Like
well, don't list them because I don't want to get demonetized.
Yeah, I was just going to say change the subject.
Enough, yeah. Change the subject. Let's talk about Dave Weiss.
Well, I was going to say, let's talk brass tacks here, right? How much are we talking?
Well, in your case, you could get your mortgage paid off and probably get a new car.
Is that it? I'd want a lot more than that.
Yeah. Then your bills paid, and your kids all new wardrobes. You new wardrobes, jewelry.
You can't buy Nathan for that little bit.
I was going to say that's garbage. That's a really crappy list. If that's what people like Dell have taken, or people like Jaron, you're telling me that because of a bit of debt, they sold their souls? My God, they got Jaron cheap. If that was what was being offered.
Absolutely. I was going to say, in your case, you're the greatest candidate of all, because you're the closest to the truth. You're the person that you could probably even phone some areas of your government. You can find out about that. How do I become a shill?
I know it's flat. I'm definitely detrimental.
It's in the newspaper ad. Shills wanted to debunk flat Earth.
Nathan, if you was offered no toothache and an unlimited supply of cherry coke. I'm not
smart enough to be one anyway. I'm not smart enough to be a Mason, and I know too much anyway, so they would never take me. And I'm old. I'm 65.
I could.
Can you hear Liam?
The price would have to be right, but I could
What
easily
was that?
transition back into globe belief, really easily.
You
Because it
could
is just
demand
that, isn't
money
it?
too,
Just
like a lump
belief.
sum, 100 grand or something. Like I tell you, it's a bottomless pit of money they have because it's
100 grand
taxpayers'
is
money.
not a lot of money.
No, it's not.
No, I'm
You
just
kidding
I was
me?
just threw that out there, Neil. I just threw that figure out. If you're really good, you could make very lucrative. If you're good at what you do, if you can convince people to leave flat Earth or think it's just ridiculous, you can make good money because they're taking it serious. Flat Earth is like number one
So what do you
on
reckon?
the list.
What do you reckon Jaron got paid?
Lots.
You ever given me
I
a
don't know,
ballpark,
500,000
roughly?
maybe.
250 grand?
I'm just saying.
300
Yeah,
grand?
about 500,000.
Half a million. 500
probably.
grand. Yeah, I reckon you probably got half a million out of it.
Yeah, that's how they. Yeah, you're not going to sell out for 100 grand, because that money would be gone in a day.
Yeah,
You know,
but
the
for half a
inflation.
mil. Yeah, I bet they bought him for half a mil. They got him
If you
nice.
think about it,
for,
though, even a half a mil is not
250,
really a lot.
No, I know, but it's still. Yeah, you're right, Neil. Half a million's cheap, but
But if you don't know, he could change the globe. What's it? So what? He's a shill. So what else? What can you do about it? Nothing. Right? We can't do anything. He goes to the ball and then he preaches all this bullshit, and he's getting paid like maybe 10,000 a month. Who knows? Right?
Hold on, guns.
And
Hold the event here.
Yeah, there's
Stop
nothing
the
we can
events.
do.
What the hell am I
Okay.
watching? Annual cheese rolling event in England?
yeah, I've been to
Is
a
that
cheese rolling.
a thing?
Yeah, I've watched that several times.
There
I went
were
out with a
guys
girl.
just bouncing down a hill.
Yeah, people get killed. That's in Gloucester.
With the rolling, the cheese. Yeah, they go running after a big thing of cheese. That is
Very
hilarious.
entertaining.
You are
It is
from
too.
Canada. Nathan is from England. Can Nathan please respond?
Are you talking about
I'm
something that
sorry.
takes?
Go ahead. The cheese run.
I give up.
Yes, I was just
Isn't that
watching on TV. They were showing you the national cheese rolling thing, and there was guys. They weren't rolling. Nathan, they were bouncing down a hill. One guy looked like he almost broke his neck.
Yeah, people do die doing it. People have died doing the cheese roll. So for the audience's benefit, we're talking
hilarious.
about. Oh my God, Guns! It's the fourth time I've tried to answer him. Please, fourth time. Cheese roll is where, if you've seen a wheel of cheese, it's about, I'm going to go with 5 to 6 kilos of cheese. Maybe it's more. And it's in a wheel, a cheese wheel, a very big wheel-shaped cheese, right? And they get this thing and they physically hurl it down a 45-degree incline. I'm not even joking. It is a proper hill face, and they roll the cheese down, and the idea is you get your men at the top of the hill and you roll the cheese and then you go after it. And that is it. And the winner is the one who doesn't die at the bottom.
Oh my God, I'm watching this lady bounce away. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, there's females too, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anybody can take part. Children, if you want to go in for the cheese roll.
Hey, Neil, they do head plants. Like when they're rolling down the hill, they do head plants. Oh my God.
Yeah, these are people from the West Country.
Neck breaking.
This is people from Gloucester. I went out with a girl from Stroud, and yeah, she was all for doing the cheese roll. We went several times. It was great.
There's guys at the bottom trying to catch them. Holy shoot.
Yeah, you get to keep the cheese. If you get the cheese, you get to keep it.
And we think Jaron's sold out easy. These guys are selling out for cheese.
Why would I want cheese that has just rolled down a hill? What the hell?
It's a lot of cheese.
No, it's properly covered chocolate. I'm looking at it now, what Nathan described. Wow.
So the hill doesn't become
That was such a great day, right? I mean, if you're from that neck of the woods, right? If you're from the West Country and you're from that area like Cirencester, Stroud, Gloucester, that sort of neck, go to the cheese roll. Just go and experience it. Because I remember it with very fond memories, right? And I'm not that kind of person. I don't tend to take pleasure in watching people get hurt. And the cheese rolls I went to, no one broke any bones or anything. They were all fine.
So are you allowed to wear like a helmet? Because I didn't see anybody with like a helmet on.
You pussy.
Oh, I see. So if you put a helmet on, you'll get mocked. I
No,
got you.
it's just not like that. No one's doing it to show off they want the cheese. It's just a pastime. You know, hurling yourself towards almost certain death after a roll of cheese, that's considered normal in the West Country, right? You're just not getting it. They're not it's not like, I need a helmet here. That's not how they're thinking.
Nathan, I just watched people slam their heads, flip around. I would have worn a helmet. And another thing I wanted to ask you, I seen something happen in Liverpool yesterday. Was that legit, that somebody plowed their vehicle through pedestrians in Liverpool?
Correct.
Did you hear anything?
I mean, that's what they're showing in the edited footage. You ever see The Running Man?
Yeah, that bullcrap news reels going off, yeah.
I just don't want to say anything that will trigger the censors or get me demonetized, but by the same token, if I just say, have you seen The Running Man, and you respond to it yes, I don't need to say anything else, do I?
Gotcha.
The Butcher of Bakersfield. Boo, boo. There are women and children down there.
That's funny.
Yeah, back in the days
Well,
when
well,
Arnie's I'll be back actually meant something contextually in the movie.
Well, if I remember correctly, that was a Bachman book, right?
Yes, that's
Written
correct.
by Stephen King, but it was under the name of Bachman.
Correct. Yeah, that's right. Good memory. I don't think I'd read the book before I watched the movie, though. I'm pretty sure I saw the movie first. But yes, that's right, Neil.
I did. I read it in prison.
Well, the book's got a really cheesy cover from memory. It's got like a really 1980s cover to it with like two what do they call them, 8-bit graphics of men running across the cover of the book from memory. It's a really cheesy cover.
That's correct.
As opposed to the movie, which is obviously all glitz and glamour and Hollywood with Arnie on the front cover.
My cousin worked FX and 1 and 2.
Okay.
Terminator 1 and 2. Yeah, so a lot of those effects, like the robot, they had a fake robot, like it was like a half of a body of a robot, and it was like a puppet. And they had guys like working it, so they just filmed the top half. There's some other things, but he worked Transformers, the first 2 of those, and Blade 1, 2.
Cool.
You just name like Thor, the Avengers, Captain America, Ruthless People, Birdcage,
What's his name?
Die Hard 1 and 2.
Who is he?
I can't give you his name. I can't give you that name. I can't
Well,
give
what
you
did
the
he
name.
do? What did he do? He was special effects.
5. He was in 5 departments, and most movies use every department. So, okay, Independence Day, Sphere, The Abyss. Oh my God, he's hundreds, and he worked on
This
TV
guy
series
has
like
been associated with the
Sons-
most technologically advanced movies of the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he's 75 right now, or 76.
I was going to say he's got to be getting on to have been involved in that, because The Abyss was even earlier, right?
He got sick. A really funny thing is, he had a heart attack just like suddenly. Like, he was healthy as an ox, and then I'm visiting, talking to him a lot. All of a sudden, he has a heart attack. He's in the hospital for a week. And then he's okay. He's okay now. Like, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Just had a heart attack.
Yeah, it's a bit like microphones. People are in various states of entropic decay.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
So anyway, getting back to Well, yeah. What do you call it? What's a good movie that you guys liked?
Matrix.
No, he's not. He didn't work to make. That's in England. New Zealand, I think.
Edward Penis Hands.
Or,
Edward Penis Hands? That's not a
Pardon
real
me?
movie. Well, if it's a real movie, it's pornographic.
Jack Off Cabin. Have you ever seen that? The trailer?
No, let's not list our favourite pornography. Thank you.
No. Owen Benjamin. It's a fake trailer. And from about 10, 12 years ago. And
You say Owen Benjamin?
Benjamin's in it.
Owen
he's in
Benjamin
this
was
fake
all for us
trailer.
giving up pornography.
It's called Blowjob. No, I think it's called Blowjob Cabin. If you look it up, just say Blowjob Cabin trailer.
This is Owen Benjamin on his anti-pornography tip, right?
Yeah, he's in there. And he's like a bad guy in the clip. He's like a psycho. It's weird.
What was his rhetoric? It was like porn equals bad, or I can't remember. It was a while. I do vaguely remember Owen Benjamin.
Yeah, remember it? Yeah, and it was just a trailer. They never made a movie, but it was a good trailer. Like it was like the scary movie trailers, really campy and cheesy. Except the ghost or the whatever was jacking off all the time. It's under like a sheet or something. It's really
It sounds hilarious.
Yeah, but the trailer is really funny. And Owen Benjamin, he's like this. He's like the caretaker. He opens the door and he's standing there, and then he says something that's really whatever, scary or whatever.
But he wasn't like he was
really awkward.
He wasn't like he was going in for tantra or anything. It's not like he's Sting. He was just saying, "Don't watch porn; it's bad."
Yeah, before, after, like after the fact, he used to talk about men with small hats, and he used to go on and on. And he has Jewish in him. He's part Jewish.
What was it? If he's part Jewish, what was with all the Jew bashing then?
No, he's part Nephilim. He says
Nephilim.
Yeah. He's 6'8". He said he didn't like.
But there's a difference. Sorry,
anybody.
That's not part Nephilim. That's just write this down. You got a pen? That's tall.
Oh, he's too short.
Tall.
He's too short.
Not part Nephilim. Tall.
What he mentioned is that he wouldn't hang out with people that are under 6'6", like guys. This is what he said. He looks down.
That's a very
us.
small percentage, right? And guys over 6'6", that's a tiny percentage of people.
I know, but he said that on one of his earlier shows. He says, I wouldn't even bother with you if you're under 6'6". If I met you at a party or something, I wouldn't even bother with you. A guy, if you're a guy. And I thought, are you kidding me? You must be friends with basketball players or something. I don't know. What the hell?
Was that guy Dr. Disrespect, right? He'd be his friend. Dr. Disrespect's really tall too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm 6'4".
I'm only 6'2".
I say
you don't fit the
6'6",
bill.
but I'm actually 6'4". No, I'm too short to be his friend. Yeah, he kind of changed over the years as well. Have you noticed?
Is he a woman now?
Like
Has he got a vagina?
They blackballed him. No, they blackballed him. No, they didn't change. He didn't change that way, but he got blackballed, from Hollywood and all from the entertainment industry for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe talking about.
Yeah, that's what he says. I mean, he says he got blackballed, but maybe.
So that's what I mean. It could be all. They probably bought him the farm. Who knows?
He just ain't getting any roles. That's all.
Yeah, that's what I would say if I wasn't getting any work. I got blackballed. Yeah, they didn't want me.
Yeah, I got blackballed. Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, on a completely unrelated issue, totally unrelated, I'm definitely censored.
Penis guys with the small heads.
Sons of Navarone, do you realize when somebody else is talking?
Neil, you've got no room to do this. What are you doing?
I can't.
I do not do that.
You. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yes, you do exactly that.
No, I do not.
Oh, really?
I will pull up the freaking videotape to prove
serious.
it.
Yeah. In yesterday's show, while I'm appealing to Brian Cox, right, I've got your ding-dongs from you raising your hand in the middle of my little speech, Neil. So even when you're
That was an
trying not to
accident.
that's you interrupting. That you do it all the time. What are you talking about?
Nathan, when I hear somebody talking, I stop if I go to enter in. I do not continue.
Neil's
Actually,
telling
you
me,
say you
Neil's
can't
telling
hear
another
them
guest off for rumpus.
sometimes.
Just telling my wife.
Like just now, what I just heard just now, 3 voices going at once.
That was me, my bad. You tell him, Neil, my wife says. Total silence. I love it. Yeah, the cheese roll's good fun. You should all watch. Don't do it. You'll die. I mean, like, you will die.
Hey, Paula, how you doing?
Paula's in here.
She's in my kitchen now. She's making a load of noise.
Cho-
It's in my
Chocolate,
kitchen.
hello.
She lives here too.
Good morning.
Has done for quite some time.
I thought you meant Bible U. Sorry. I forgot your wife is the same name.
No, my wife is
Paula,
also
yeah.
named Paula.
You say she's making a lot of noise. That's a good mic you got there. Can't pick it up at all.
Yes, that's why I use a shotgun. Shotgun. Very focused polar pattern.
I can't hear her at all.
Jolly good.
It's a great
Yeah,
show.
compare me to that Rumpusson guy.
You've got Guns of the Navarone.
Neil, I like you a lot. I really do. I admire you. You stick to your guns.
Well, it's
You
been
don't let
emotional.
anyone push you around.
I'm going to round out. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.